Right, hello everyone. Welcome. Hey there, Ansel. How you doing? Alright, let's get some music going. I did not get that ready today. Ooh. Let's get some Stone Rebel on. Right, that ought to be good enough. Okay, so last stream we went and wait a minute. Is that, yeah. Sweet. Yeah, so last stream we went and got the checkbox and the radio button working. And we also got margin and padding in, right? So we've got some lovely colors on here, look at that. Oh. So this is a button, these are 3 radio buttons, and this is a checkbox. So we should probably change the colors a bit, because they're a bit... We should make the purple blue instead of... Let me sort that out. Chat only. There you go. Right. Got you guys up on my phone now. There we go. So this stream, what I want to do is we're going to be doing a tiny bit of a cleanup for the code we've already written, just do a couple of like renames of things. But we're going to get the text checkbox working and the text radio button working as well. And get the widget state API working fine, because right now we have a problem. And that is, it's in main, isn't it? Yeah. So when we do like the radio button, or when we do like a button, we can't go, okay, if the button was pressed, or if get the focus state and UI focus state pressed or released, right? We can't do this just yet because it only works when this gives you the state for the thing that was previously started. So if you want it to do it properly, you have to do it here on the inside, which is not necessarily good. So what we want to do is make it so this can work, can have the state set based on when a widget starts and when a widget ends, right? And then you can just go and grab it. So it'd be really handy. So that's what we want to do today. So let's start by doing a little bit of renaming. So I want to rename UI, wait. We did this thing called rect align. And this is great and everything, but it's not. So this is known probably as the outer rectangle. This should be the inner, or the rect dimensions, or inner rect dimensions that you're trying to align, and then where you want to align it. That makes it a little bit more self-documenting, right? Excuse me. Rather than dims is inner. Dims is inner rectangle dims. Boom. Right, so that's a lot more readable now. So also as well, this was dereferent, you know, it's better if we did this. Yeah, for all the ones that we missed. Um, this is in min.x, isn't it? This one's was missing max.x. Max y. That's what's missing, yeah. Max y we're missing here. Fantastic. Right, so that should have made that better. Sweet. So the other thing I wanted to rename was this thing called styles. Because styles, yeah, really should just be called style. And this should just be called style, and style should be called something else. So this is like widget or state style, maybe UI state style. Yeah, so we should call this one state style. Let's rename UI style to UI state style. Or style state. Terrible, terrible name. I don't know how better else to name it, to be honest. So we'll just do that. It's better than what it is. It's getting cold up here in Sweden. Soon, time for a coat. Yeah. I know, right? Getting chilly here too, especially in the evening, you know. I think Sweden's got quite similar temperatures to where I live. Got some Swedish people at work. They seem to be getting some similar yeah, it's quite similar weather, you know. Well, I thought Sweden was a lot colder, but it's not. Right now, we've got to change the word style for state style. Cool. Looking good. So now it's got to change the name styles to style. Ah, you bugger. Right now my phone claims it's 6 degrees. Yeah, it's quite chilly. 3 degrees without any sun, now that is cold. Especially when you're used to like 20 degrees. 3 degrees, you'll just be shivering. Hey there, Cranston, how you doing? Good to see you. Right, that's been a beautiful rename. So now, that should all compile. Oh yeah. We got at least 20% Swedes in chat. Oh yeah. That was weird. Okay, so this still works, which is good. After, I did just rename, but still. Right. So, okay. So the next thing we should work on then is probably... We should probably do some text boxes or something. Not text boxes, these with text on them. So move them down here, and we'll go ahead and do that, right? We've tested nesting stuff now, so there's no point really keeping it nested. Or we could keep it nested, right? Doesn't matter. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep these guys around, but then continue. We'll do cut bottom. Or cut top, whatever. So cut bottom, checkbox. This time checkbox with a piece of text. Bum, bum, bum. And then we want with a piece of text. Right, so we need to actually do these explicitly now. I also have a shirt and thin jacket on. Incredible. Yeah, thin jacket does you nice inside, but yeah, you go outside, you'll be shivering, go right through you. So we need a warm cup of tea. Bit too warm. It'll burn me right now. Right, so we want to have one with text. So you could also say text C, because you can do the C string version. So this one needs a string, and then a string with text, and then text. This one will use string. This one will use core string underscore C and do the conversion. Nice. And this will take in a core string. So it's sized, right? So we don't have to keep doing string length or anything like that. Just give it, just do it once, pass it in, done. Right, so the plan of action is to basically achieve the same sort of thing, right? Although yes, I don't think we'll do another widget. Oh, should we do another widget? We could just take the rectangle you've got left over and then do the drawing, the text draw on top of that, I think. Just do draw, we don't have to make it another widget. I think. Doesn't make any sense, maybe. Wait, why did I copy all that? Whoops. If visible checkbox end, return visible. And then here you want to do the rendering. So this will just be checkbox. Is checked string style. Sehr good, sehr good. And then here we want to place that UI text draw function that we made. Is that a thing? No, it's not. Right, so this could be a text drawer. Yeah, we should make a text drawer, because that way we can do whatever we want, I think. Thank you for the follow. Oh, it's a raid. Coffee Lava. Appreciate it, sir. How you doing? Oh, thank you. Glad you appreciate the VODs there. Appreciate it, sir. Vertanders. I can't even pronounce. My ISO went blurry for a second, so maybe I pronounced that incredibly wrong. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, Collector of Stuff. Welcome, Range Bomber, and Red Left. He left you. Yeah. So we're currently working on a game without an engine, but we're working on the engine part. Yes, I said that. So we're currently putting together a UI. We've got some radio buttons, got some buttons with a box in it for some reason, got some text, got some checkbox, all from scratch in C basically. But yeah, how did the stream go, Coffee Lava? We're doing rendering with nothing but compute shaders. As you can tell, here's the performance metrics in the background. I'm hoping to do a video on this soon, but I've needed to find the time, so I need to find some time and actually make a video on how that's done. Because I do have like many videos on it, but it'd be good to condense that down into something more digestible. It was just trying out Rust. Fair play. How'd it go? He shot himself short. He wrote his own C to compute shader compiler. It's more than that very much. It's a C to SPIV compiler, works on compute, and vertex shaders and pixel shaders. Welcome Zen, welcome Zen. But yeah, I kind of just forgot about that, to be fair. I'm too busy just living the dream of programming in C for everything, you know? Keep forgetting how good it is. I'm being spoiled. We get printf and shaders and everything, you know? But anyway. How's it going, very much? How you been? How's it going? How you been? Right, draw void. Gimme a rectangle. And the style. Text draw. So we get a nice little bit of reusable code. I said it, reusable. So we should be able to reuse this and avoid creating another widget, right? Because that's kind of a bit, you know, if we can avoid going down into a function which does extra work just to then end up, yeah. Sometimes, you know, you can just get the bit of code you need to run, just run that instead. Where is it? Oh shoot, I need the string. Right, that ought to be good enough. So we're just trying to add text to a checkbox. We could have done it by putting a text widget inside the checkbox, but yeah, we're just going to render text instead because it would just be more simple for the CPU to execute, right? String voila. So now we do checkbox text. Now we can simply just call text draw. Give it the draw rectangle, which would just be rec. Fingers crossed that will work. Let's chuck a bit of text in there, a bit of C text. Love me some C text. This is more text. Let's try that. Forgot how everyone else suffers with HSL and GSL. Yeah. Did you look at Zig? You talking to me or Coffee Lover? I thought about a program where you can create a tree structure and to describe software. Each line goes somewhere, and the code section can have a tag like audio, AART, and images. I think source code. Oh. Fair play. Being Good had a massive nonsense discussion about high-level database shenanigans at work, where we now have to reinvent the wheel for some reason. That's great. Well, enjoy it. Reinvent the wheel is a fun, right? Whenever you get a chance to do it, do it. I've implemented IMGUIs in the past. It fits really well with games and engines, but without callbacks, using like if button, it's really hard to handle overlapping controls when clicking a button placed on a window over another Windows button. On a button placed on a window over another Windows button. Oh, no. Sure, firstly, I haven't got multiple windows, right? But if you've got that problem, then it's purely because, yeah, you've got to handle like that's not IMGUI, right? Or it's your implementation. So what you have to do is you have to know what the mouse event, what window the mouse event is for, and then when you're like going down through the when you're doing your UI, you have to set some state to say, hey, I am doing the UI. I'm going over and doing the UI for that window. And when they marry up, it means it's fine, right? Right, we just got recursively called the same function, like a silly person. So let's go and amend that. Yeah, I did a silly. Chances I did a silly, eh? Alright. Damn it. Did that compile? No. Too many thingies. Right. So that's kind of in the wrong place. No biggie. Meant to be cutting rect. I'll cut your rect in a minute. Right, so here we go. This is good. So here's our checkbox. It's the size of what we said to cut it at. But these two things the same sizes. They're not, are they? Oh yeah, because we told it to cut 100, but it wasn't. But it was too. Yeah, so it like minned it with the amount of available space. Fair play. So we've done 100, but this text shouldn't be rendered here. It should be rendered after, right? So let's sort that out, shall we? We want to align it to the left. So we've got the align function. We can just do the aligning quite easy. So we've got ourselves the rectangle. This is going to put us inside the checkbox. So before we do this, Right, so it's the way it's going to draw the checkbox is it's going to square it based on the min or the max x, or it sets the max x to whatever the min x is plus the height. So you want to work out how to get after the box, right? So this is how you get after the box. So then you need to shrink your box on the left by that. So cut, you want to do a cut left. And you want to discard the return thing, right? We're not using the return thing. So this is how much oh yeah, we're cutting left by the height, sorry. That's what we're doing. And then if we try to draw it, should be in the right place, right? There we go. So that's in the right place now because we basically had it here and we said, hey, go after that, and that's good. But the problem is it's not really aligned correctly. So we've got our new function for that. Bear in mind, this is, the box that this checkbox is in covers this whole area here. So you can click here because that's where the box covers, which is fine. That's how it's been designed. But we want this to be aligned nicely, right? No biggie. We're then going to add some padding. We're doing padding on margin. We probably then want to apply some of the padding at least. Plus any style padding left, right? That'd be good. And then we can use that new lovely rec align, which is going to align well, we just want to make sure it's center aligned. So I get along the Y. So really all we need is the height of the text, and then we can do the alignment ourselves manually. So you can get the height of the text with the line height. So that's the line height. And then you have the height of the box. So we can go into that lovely function we made last stream, which does the alignment based on all of this switch statement-y stuff, right? And what all we need to do is we want to align to the left middle. So it's this code here. That's what we want. So this is going to be our new rectangle. So the dims, we only need the dims on the Y, right? Welcome back, Psycode. How you doing? Oh, that peppermint tea is good. Oh. So we've got ourselves a rectangle. All we need to do now is offset by, right, so let's do a bit of drawing. So we've got a little checkbox. Let's do another one. Got a checkbox here. It's sort of container is like that. It's proper long. Then you've got your little bit of text that's down here, right? But it needs to be here. So you've got the height of the text and you've got the height of the box. You got the height of the overall box, right? Wait a minute. Sorry, that's me being dumb. The box kind of goes like this. It's really tight next to the thing. Yeah, so you got the height of this. You got also the height of the text, right? So basically you need to center it. So essentially you need to say, I keep forgetting this maths, even though I do it all the time. But yeah, so you need like, yeah, so it's that divided by 2. So it's this divided by 2 minus the text divided by 2. And then that'll center it. Probably just right in front of my face. So you need like half a y. So that'd be this guy. Right in front of my face. And then you got this rect. Got another rect. And then all you have to do is adjust the, so that's how, that's how much we're adjusting the min. Right, so change that one first, followed by this one. Yes. Right, that should be it. So we center align the text there. Jobs are good. A bit too far. We should just draw the box, to be honest, and see its size. So let's draw it before. Right, so we did lose a bit of the height from the padding. So that's probably why. We lost a bit from the padding. So we probably want to give it back. But then there's like border. There's a border as well. Yeah, so we probably apply it back. So we should say rec dot min y minus equals style padding dot bottom plus style border thickness, and then we're applying the max. That's a plus there. And then you're taking these guys. Right, so that there. So if I draw the box again, there's a bit of a debug. That's the size of there, which is correct now. Right. Now this text should still be lower, but it isn't. For some reason. Oh, probably because there's padding involved, isn't there? Does the text account for padding? It counts for padding. You SOB. Damn these abstractions. So I don't know why this text can do all this stuff. It seems a bit silly. The text can end up drawing a box. And maybe we should remove that. Surely that's already it's a draw rec. I see. I should apply it. drawRect dot min x. That should have been bottom. Anyway. Right, so that should fix our problem. Sweet, so that's center aligned now. Super nice. It's got to be pushed out from the left though a little bit. Based on some padding. I thought we were doing that here with the padding, but so we don't put the padding on there. Right, it's right on the right, so that's the height before we sort this out. So we need to just put that there like that. And that is height. Much better. And would you look at that? The text is center aligned and we've got a checkbox. Bit chunky, but jobs are good. Hey there, Not So Red, how you doing? Good to see you. How's things been? Right, so now we should just be able to copy and paste that for the radio buttons. So all we need to do is right, so it's funny we have to sort of like remove margin and padding that's already been applied to our rectangle, when really we would like the draw rectangle back out. Maybe we could set the draw rectangle in a global rather than having it passed back out onto the stack. That way it will just be accessible when you want to sort of like inherit sort of behavior, right? And then it will save you doing, or sorry, inherit sort of or extend the widget with some more things, right? So I think that would be a better idea. So let's go into the internals. We're going to go to that sort of GUI section. We're going to go and drop in a sort of a draw rectangle. This should be put maybe somewhere else, but we'll change that in a minute. So rather than having draw rec returned via this thing, instead it's going to set a global. Much better way of doing it. So this is going to say, hey, GUI.drawRec equal that rectangle there at that point in time before we shrink it by the border thickness and padding. So that will mean then when you draw, you can pass in the address of .gui. This thing. Very good. Doesn't mutate it, no. Very nice. Any more of the, or plenty more of these, I know that for sure. GUI.draw, this is for the button. Oh, doing good. What about you? Yeah, doing good, man. Doing good. Just been busy at work and been chilling with the baby, that sort of thing. But yeah, things are going good. I think I got some sleep. I think I got some sleep last night, but yeah, could have had more. But yeah. So this is to do with the text. We apply the padding and that to the rectangle. Why are you applying the padding when you could just be using this rectangle, which has that already applied? Fantastic. Alright, that's a lot simplified a lot more now. And this one is the checkbox. And Right, so here we're going to be mutating the draw rec, but I don't want to be mutating the one in the global. So we'll take a copy on locally, then we'll change it and draw the little box, right? The checkbox. That's good. And then when we do the checkbox text version, we call this one here. This is still the same, so we can go ahead and actually use that, right? So that'll be, so we want to mutate it, right? We need to change it. Yeah, we need to change it. So what we're going to do is do the same thing again. And we'll just say here like this. We no longer have to apply this or bring the padding back out, or, you know, which would be good. Because that's the biggest problem when you have code reuse, right? You basically, you have to end up maybe undoing something that a system's already done, or you know, so that's, so if we can sort of get around that problem, it just cleans up the code so much, and we can still have the code reuse. So this gets the height. So we used to use rect, now we should be using draw rect. So that takes the address and these guys. Pretty sweet. So that should be the fix, I think. Oh no, wait, we've got one more. This one. This modifies the draw rec as well. Right, that ought to be good enough. Let's give that a go. Cool. So this is fine up here, the text with a button, that's good. This though, I think that's fine. We can drop a box draw around it just to double check. UI box draw. Draw rec, style. Yeah, it's going around the whole thing. Perfect. And you do that after you cut, and then it should go around. Yep, that's perfect. Well, I don't know, this seems a little high to me. Why is it high? So this is when we're drawing it after the cut left. We're seeing that it's got, well, I don't know. We should get the get a screen grab. That'll prove it. We get Krita open. New file from clipboard, please. Right. The moment of truth. This height of 34 pixels. "34 pixels. Why is it jumping? It says 35, the other one said 34. It's funny how it looks High when the background is green, but okay when the background is red. Ooh. Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? Yeah, I've not got any special logic for that either. Like active, when it's active, it should never change size. Yeah, it's exactly in the right place as well. Right, let's get rid of that debug box now. Boom. Zoom a little bit. I can also do the zoom right. Enhance. Boom. Yeah, I think it's fine. Right, I'm using the old get my fingers out, giving it a measure. Yeah, it's actually perfect. Red 1. Red 1A. I love I got two people where we got like red in their name in the chat. So are you red 2 then, red he left you? Or red 1 here? Right, so that's pretty good. Right, this should have the padding applied though. I did remove it. Just to double check the rectangle, we fixed it, and then that should, yeah, it's better, it's more away now. Boom. So now let's do the radio buttons. Gonna be killing it. So the radio button, very similar to the checkbox one. Yep. But if you see his machine, his computer, his username is red1, isn't it? Or is that your PC's name? Red at red1. Something like that. Red Narco, it says TikTok girls are doing a challenge where stop doing healthy habits, ironically, and it works. Okay. Yeah. Question: isn't IMGUI an existing framework already? Basically, the guy who made it, Omar, he sort of like he saw Casey's 2004 video on YouTube or something, going over how like UIs could be done, and really liked the idea. And then he made Dear IMGUI, but he called it IMGUI for short or whatever. And it's basically really poor naming, and it then caught on. And yeah, he didn't bother changing the name at all. And it eventually got too late. So basically, like it's a UI paradigm, but it so happens that the first one that sort of caught on was also named basically IMGUI as well, right? So yeah, that's the quick run of it. So always when you say IMGUI, people are like, "Dear IMGUI," or no, or people always think of Dear IMGUI, but it's really, it's actually a paradigm, a UI paradigm, which is really great. And it's great that, it's really strange though. A lot of people, they always talk about Dear IMGUI how it's amazing, or IMGUI how it's amazing, but they don't understand that it's actually encompasses a whole UI paradigm, and more UIs could be or are done this way other than Dear IMGUI now. And when they say IMGUI is great, they're talking about the library, but they're failing to mention that IMGUI's, like, as a paradigm, is actually really great for programmers, right? For programmers, they're super powerful. But yeah. Like a specification, a bit like procedural programming versus object-oriented programming. It's kind of like that. It's like an interface of how you approach the kind of like that. Or maybe kind of like OpenGL 1.0, where you do those sort of like GL begin, and then you do that GL vertex, right? This is like IMGUI, right? Right? The old days of OpenGL, but then there's also the other way where it's like GL buffer. I forgot what it is now because I did gen buffer, whatever it's called, buffer gen. I forgot how you do OpenGL. It's been a while. But yeah, the retain mode way, right? That's basically the thing that we're comparing. Have you looked at learn numbers in hex? I bet you can build an intuition for it. Yeah, I think there's a website, a really good website visualizing it. There's a really good one. I think it's actually called like float.viz or something like that. Float.open, float. There's literally a site we can play around with it. Like, it's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm somewhat familiar with the floating point representation. Like I know how it works, and you know what sort of numbers are best as floats. But yeah, could probably work it out. Let's look at the last Giga result. Not sure what you mean. But yeah, I forgot. I got linked to it from a friend, so I can't really. I've never searched for the website. Right, so we're just going to be doing the same sort of thing. That ought to be good enough, I reckon. So we should be able to drop that down here. This will go in here. We can then create similar things. Selected. Okay, and then checkbox we're going to replace for radio button because they're basically the same thing, right? Right, so when these are in, we can then move on to getting the widget. Like, how do we say if that button was clicked, right? So we're just going to wire these boys in. And we're then just going to... So we do the rendering right away, which means we could technically just do char buff, I don't know, 32 will be good enough. We're going to sprint into that thing, sprint, however you pronounce that, snprintf, the best tool in C. And we're just going to say option this, no new line, what am I doing? Index, boom. Rectangle, we're cutting bottom. Keep cutting from that bottom. And then we're saying text with an ID. Core string C. See, I really want to avoid typing that all the time. We should make versions for this. More versions. Right, so we need another one where we can say ID, and that allows pass in an explicit ID in. Same for this one. Explicit ID, please. C ID, and the string is going to be buff. Boom. Right, so let's take that for a spin. What's going on? Right, here we go. So got our option 0, option 1, option 2. Obviously the button's a bit big in terms of like, it's because we've made the box that big, right? But if we can literally just shrink it. So instead of doing 100, we can say 64 in size, right? Maybe it's a bit small. We'll see. There we go. Bing, 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 bing. And there's our... Hey there, Skosh. It's not a library, it's just a custom one for this game. So just building it all from scratch because I want to build a simple UI that we can use to do some debug stuff. So we've done the rendering already using compute shaders. These are all the compute shaders running here. So we've got a super flexible renderer which allows us to do all this lovely rendering. Obviously the colors are really whack right now. But yeah, so we just build in the necessary widgets that we'll need. So yeah, it's gonna be cool. Why compute shaders? Because I want to, as part of the challenge is, can we do a 3D game using compute shaders only? Because GPU vendors are pushing towards black box implementations, and they're not going to give us the raw, or they want to try and not give us the raw power of the machine and give us these state configurable black boxes. So that's why Vulkan is damn complicated, and that's why every other graphics API is damn complicated. But compute shaders are essentially the low-level part exposed in the GPU APIs, right? So what we're planning on doing is just trying to use that, and maybe someday if we all push towards using compute only, we can you know, just have a more simple time. To remove Xorg. Must be yeah, must be quite difficult right now. Yeah, we should change the box's color. All those purples basically should just be made blue. Wait, that's red, isn't it? No? Ah, shoot. Yeah, that would have been right. Let's make it a little bit easier to see the borders. Yeah, even more ugly. Yeah. You know, I should keep a little bit of the red. And the red should really be made like a little bit less red, you know. Yeah, we'll get some proper colors in a bit. But until then, maybe we'll put a little bit of green in it. I just made it worse, didn't I? No, I didn't add blue. R goes there, green goes there, blue goes here, alpha goes there. It's because the way RGB lays out in memory, it's the other way around. But yeah, it's confusing. I can agree with you on that one. It's not how my thing is designed, it's just how RGB works in memory. You always pack R in the first bits. So R always goes in the first bits, right? The first 8 bits. Green. Like, yeah, it's confusing. Yeah, something like that will do. Let's have a little bit of blue. Perfect. Super ugly. That's what we want. Okay. So the next thing we want to do after that is have the ability to actually be able to say if this thing has been released and actually handle these things. So it's a bit of a problem right now. So when we go into this button scope thing, it basically does a little bit of a hack where we do a button start then a button end. It's in like some for loop type of thing. We should read on the button text one actually. We should sort that out soon. Yeah, we'll do that soon. Let's just get this done. So it basically does a button start before the box and a button end after the box, right? Now the problem is you want to do this focus state to get the focus state of the button, but not of the box that you've just put down. So when you do the button start, it's going to eventually call widget start. And in widget start, we basically set all of that state up, right? See this focus state here? We sort of set it up if it's focusable. And we also set the widget state as well. So what we need to do is we need to have a way of storing all of this state that you can get based on a widget and bringing it back when you end the widget. Because that would make it far easier to use. So let's go and find where these are defined. Everywhere by convention RGB because it's like CSS. Yeah, but like that's not how it works though. Like it's still RGB. It's RGB the way it's laid out in memory. Like, but as a number, it's in reverse, right? BGRA. No, it's not BGRA. No, we know that. Aircraft sRGB. Yeah, we also use sRGB, the color profile. So we want to keep track of the state on some stack. I really don't like this because we're pushing and popping it all the time. There seems to be no other good way of doing it. Yeah, just trolling. Hey, how you been? How you been? So essentially we want to have like it can't be called widget state, but essentially like you want these guys. Does it need to be the draw rec? Maybe not the draw rec. ID hash. No, that's fine. So it's mainly these things that you might want to know. So these are all like a byte in size, I think. Yeah. So these things are kind of like, I can't call it widget state because I've already got something called widget state. This is where naming. So you've got other common names like property and attribute, but it's like, and we've got a thing called focus state. This is based on how it's focused and been interacted with, right? So it's like an interaction state. Right. Yeah. The final frame. Yeah, you're talking about the final frame buffer. Yeah, on Windows and Linux desktop. You have like it is BGRA. Yeah, that's right. Yep. That's the final swap chain. So I think we'll focus state on how this thing is sort of focused and interacted with. So I could call it like, it's called interaction state. So this thing's called widget state, where it's like the state of the widget is focused, active. So this, it can't be called widget state, but is there another way around this problem, right? So we want to be able to basically call this. So every time we do a start, we could technically back it up and then restore it at the end. And you could do that manually. But then you still need a way to group it all. You still need a way to group it all. And then it can probably live on the call stack instead of going into some other stack, being pushed and popped all the time. But we push and popped on a call stack anyway. Yeah, I think it'd just be better doing it this way. So I'll call it like widget grouped state. Terrible name, but it will do. It's good enough. We now need to define some form of stack of these guys. Now what we want to do is just have this, oh, it's such a bad name, but anyway, grouped. So it's a stack of group state, we have one of these per widget. Technically, the clip rectangle can go in there as well. So we could call it widget information, widget info, and that would drop it down by a load more. So we say widget info, and we did widget info. We could actually store the clip rec in there as well. And that would then shrink this name down by a whole bunch, meaning this will come back to something somewhat sensible in size. Maybe. And then we could probably take this widget info and then have the latest one there. So just be one read away, right? So that'd be ideal, I reckon. Hey there, Joe Mega, how you doing? I'm talking how to, if I write that in CSS, it's gonna be red. Sure. But that's not, like, this in CSS, right, is not equal to hexadecimal, right? Okay, this thing was around before that thing, right? So really, this thing right? Like, this thing is basically saying a number. Okay, yeah, this thing is saying a number, right? Like, it's just a hexadecimal number, whereas this thing is saying a color, where it's more like laid out. Yeah, I know it's confusing, but it's just the way it is. Like, this is the format of RGB, and it's just the way it's laid out in memory. So, but yeah. Other than my chest hurting, I'm fine. Okay. You've been doing too many of those, you've been doing some what do you call it? That sort of chest things at the gym. You can tell I don't go to the gym and use their equipment. Right. Info stack ought to be good enough. So we don't need that anymore. No hormones, developing something there. Fair play. Without going to the gym, you're developing something there. Widget info stack. Max depth. Perfect. Right. So righty-o. Right-o. So this is where all the state is going to go for it. No, it's going to back up the current one. Yeah, back up the current one. Yep, when you start a widget. No. Alright, right, Wikipedia, the true source of information. Right. So like, okay, how if you give it to OpenGL, or if you give it to OpenGL and do that unorm thing, right? If Where is it? It's not that one. Like, if you give it to OpenGL and you do this, and you tell it to do the expansion thing, where you expand it into a, where you turn it into some sort of like vector 4, I'm pretty sure that this goes in the red channel. Yeah, you'd have to test that. I'm pretty sure that's the way it does it. Don't you love that 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8 is 7, 8, 5, 6 in memory? Because most hardwares that end in, yeah, it's weird, isn't it? You'd have to see it in the shader, but yeah. Yeah, it's really confusing, especially when looking at hexadecimal stuff. Like, doing the hex is so bloody silly. But yeah, there's a right, little endian, BGRA 888. No, which one is it? ABGR. This one. RGB byte order is used where colors are stored in memory such that R is the lowest address. G after it. And B after that. On little endian, it's equivalent to A, B, GR32. Still a little bit confused. Yeah, so it's the reverse of this. Bytes are stored in memory on a machine. Wait, I'm so confused. I wish A was... Yeah. Right, so in software originating in big ending machines, certain graphics, colors are stored in 32 bits, similar to B. But the alpha in the bottom bits, for example. Yeah, alpha in the bottom bits. Right. The bytes are stored in memory on little ending machines as B. Yeah, but this is... Yeah. So then if you reverse this one, yeah, it's so bloody confusing reading this article. But yeah, weird. I'm so confused because they're flipping the terminology twice. That's why. But yeah, it's really hard to tell. Yeah, it's all different terminology. But yeah, basically it's a hexadecimal. It's just the way it's laid out in memory. That's why it's done that way. Not because, like, CSS does it that way because you can read it left to right, but it's just different. This is all. But yeah, I'm sure if you had some like new high level language, you could probably like write a little macro that does it the right way around. So with this focus state, when you do a start, you probably just want to clear it to whatever. Anyway, this one will just set it as focus state none. You know what, just set it to whatever it is. Perfect. Right, so these ones will be widget info dot that, widget info dot that. Perfect. So press F5 now. A little bit off. So these guys are the way to get the information back. Now they're kind of like what I'm thinking of is see, should the ID hash go in there as well? Yeah, maybe the ID hash should go in there as well. Pretty cool. Yep. It's fun to look at the byte sequence and see your number grow to the right. It was text. Yeah. Well, yeah, it just grows to the left though, which is like, yeah, it's kind of funny about that. Well, your number technically does grow to the right, but yeah, it's just, you still read it left to right. So ID hash, that'll go in there as well. Sweet. So these want to be widget info. Just got to follow these boys around now. Find where these places. Yep. Sweet. Rightio, so that should have fixed our problem now. So now what we should be able to do is press a button. So we've got to find the button that we're looking at. Printf, I was released. That's what we should see. And we should see it after we press this button here, which has the box in it. Press the button that has the box in it, we should see I've been released. So here's the one with the box. We're not seeing it, are we? It's not good. Right. So the way we've done it is just a little bit wrong. So you should push it on the stack. That's just for a quick hash. You should push it on the stack after it's been completed. Then you can pop it off and restore it when it's ended. That'll be it. Right, that went and buggered up. The clip rectangle should be done afterwards. Sweet. So that's popping up in there now when we click there. It's saying I've been released. Right, when you release it, it changes that. Cool. This is running way too fast though to, you know, for us to see it, but it's happening. Pretty good. And this is coming together nice and quick now, like this. So let's do the button text one. So we can do get a button with a bit of text in it, centered obviously. I do want to make sure. Yeah, then we'll do a text edit box, I think. So I've basically done all the things I wanted to do today, but we still got time. So let's keep going at it, right? Button text. So I want to get this button text one in. So it'll be very similar to these guys. Damn it. So these just need a string to be passed in. Oh, I just realized there's something we're kind of missing. It's to do with the checkboxes. We don't know when the checkbox value has changed. That's something we need to sort out. Release when mouse is not hovering. I'm not sure what you mean by that range bomb. Are you saying to test it and make sure it works? I'm pretty sure we've tested that in the past already. Is that what you're saying? Sweet. Yeah, I'll give it one more go. Because it might not work still. We'll try it. Right, so for this one, we do want to do image and image text at some point. We should really write down all the widgets we want to do. Should we write them all down? We want to get basically an image, UI image. We want UI probably like a list. We probably want a UI, the ability to at least have like a scroll area. Right, it's a bit complicated, more complicated that one, but we should be able to make it quite simple. We obviously want to have and sort of the image variants of button, checkbox, radio button, right, that sort of stuff. And a text edit one as well. So I think that's most the widgets we kind of need for the game. I don't need a layout, my friend. Akraz, all the layout system is done. It's just simply cutting rectangles up. And it's all done by the user. And the user just gives the UI system a rectangle. So I don't know if you saw this, but there's a thing called like rect cut or dead simple layouts. This thing is legendary. So basically you just define these cut functions, you got yourself a rectangle, and you can make column layouts. You can make really, you can make your layouts really quickly as a user. No biggie. No, so no widget layout, automatic layouts is completely controlled by the user. And the reason why I want to do this is one, to make it simple for the implementation. So the implementation is not some complex system. The whole design of this UI is, can we make it the most simple implementation internally, and also want to give the user as much control as possible, but try and keep the try and keep the API as simple as possible as we can. You know, make it easy. We're not having like thousands of parameters. We'll probably have 5 at most, hopefully. Right, button end. So this one will basically be like checkbox start. Sorry, checkbox text. So take this and drop it in here. So we would just be doing the button one. So it'd just be that. And voila. Now you want to center, do the centered thing, right? So you probably need to size up the text box. So we can do that. We've got f32 times 2 text dims equals UI text dims. The thing is, it's going to call text dims inside here. Is that right? No, it's not. Good. So we should just be able to pass in the string on the style. Then we just need to be able to center the rectangle. So rectangle align. So the outer rectangle is this one. Draw. Right, and the text dims, that's the rectangle we're trying to align, and we get a rectangle back out. And we want it to be centered, so it'll be UI align middle middle. And there you go. Wait, not checkbox end, button end. So that should be the button stuff ready. So we just gotta just drop one in. So it should just be, let's do one here. Let's cut left. That's not ideal. That's interesting with a cut left. Yeah, we'll probably overflow. We've really got to do the clipping, attach the clip rendering stuff as well, but we'll do that later. So this one here should just be replaced, right? So we should be able to say text seat. This is text. And then jobs are good enough, I reckon. Right, this is text, and it wasn't centered. So the draw rectangle that you're given, what is up with it? It's been affected by the padding, is that right? There's something up with it. What has happened? So that's been affected by the margin only. So let's draw a box just to make sure. Draw rect. Let's just see if there's a smaller one. Right, there's not really a smaller one that you can see. There's one that goes on top of the other one directly. So something fishy going on. Right, the text dims is having the margin that applied to it, isn't it? All that border thickness crap. Damn it. What are we doing with, are we using that at all? So you're not using that anywhere anymore. So yeah, we passed in the style so we get the line height from there. Then we was like, you know, we really need you to have the whole sort of margin and all that padding stuff. But when we did the text, after that, you post. So you want to know, you basically want an inner text inner dims, text outer dims. So is that right? So you've got so this gives you the size of the text plus all of the padding and margin. You would want that providing you're trying to render providing you're trying to get the correct size box for rendering a piece of text. Rendering a piece of text that ends up right. So maybe what you want is 2 versions, or possibly a Boolean switch, where you essentially want an outer and inner dims. So if the inner dims, you're just sizing up, you're not applying any of the extra stuff on it. So that would be inner dims. Outer dims would be inner dims plus all of this extra stuff. Now, you probably want a way to take this thickness information and say thickness horizontal and extract that out. So you probably just want to be able to say static inline F32 damn it, being too clever. So you get a thickness in and you just want it to return thickness dot left plus thickness dot right. That'd be pretty handy, I reckon. And then you want a vertical one as well. Damn it, no brackets. Then this one will be vertical. So it'd be obviously bottom and top. Then you probably want the ability to say, give me the size or the dims, and that'll just be a combination like that. So that'd be pretty useful stuff, so you don't have to keep doing long lines like this basically, and it'd be quite easy. It'll be a lot shorter hopefully. So the outer dims is going to be the inner dims, right? With the string So all we should have to do is say return add f32 times 2. We're adding dims, we're adding UI thickness dims for style margin. Then we're doing it again. We're adding another one. We're going to be adding padding. And then we'll be adding a scalar. And that scalar is going to be style border thickness dot or times by 2. Something like that. Alright, so let's compress that down a bit. So this will no longer need all this extra stuff here, because this is the inner only. Cool. It's DPI scaled as well, fair play. Nice one. So, now when we're doing this text here, we want the inner dims. And that will be all we need. There we go, so that's aligned properly now. This is now using the new button text, the nice shorthand function, and that's correctly aligned. Oh yeah. I actually quite like these colors, they're pretty cool. Right, what is another widget we can do? I got some time. Should we speed run doing a text edit? And we'll see how quick we can do that. So, oh no. I still want to do one more thing that I forgot about. Well, it's single line text edit, so it could be pretty easy. Like, you just have to get all the controls sorted out. Like, multi-line takes time. Single line, not so much. Like, we speed ran, so I've only been doing this for how many streams have we been doing it for now? This is the third stream, and it's a shorter one. I've already got all of this in. In the first stream, we already had buttons and layouts. And in the second stream, we got these done. These checkboxes and that. Radio buttons. So, yeah, it's doing well. But we want to get the checkbox and know when the value changed. Right? So you want to know when it's focused and gone to active, that's not going to be good enough, right? If the state has changed from focus to active, that's probably not good enough. Because I think like with Dear IMGUI, it does it for the checkbox. I'm not sure about the radio button, what it does in Dear IMGUI. But it's kind of nice to know when it has been changed. Should we take a look and see what they do? So I've got checkboxes, right? Yeah, see, it returns a boolean here. Like here, I wouldn't return a bool, I'll return an enum because it'll be. But yeah, this one says, right, it returns is true when the value has been changed when pressed or selected, right? So that's just a pressed event, you know. Whereas the radio button, what do they do? Returns true and the value is changed. Oh, same one. Just when it's been pressed. So you could technically just be like, based on the focus state, was it pressed? And that you're already, yes, maybe we don't need to have a return value. Maybe you can just say like, you know, pressed. And if the thing was pressed, then it's changed. So, you know, I guess it can be nice having it inside some if statement, but for consistency reasons, it's probably good to say have always return the visibility, but maybe not. Maybe for buttons, if it was visible. You only really want that for stuff that allows you to put stuff on the inside. So maybe we should say we should return whether the fact it's been pressed or not, right? Maybe the best option is for each text. I'm not sure what you mean. As a single pixel on top left, use horizontal res for calculating pixels. I'm not sure what you mean. So this is visible. I don't want to change that. Or UI visible. I want to hardcode that to false and true, just to illustrate that it's basically a Boolean. So we can do another one where we just say UI pressed. So the problem with pressed is press this frame. Yeah. Not press, so it'd be a lot more readable this way, right? Three or four fields. Use an offset for bounds checking instead of 3 or 4 fields. Right. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, to be fair. Right, so this visibility. So for boxes, you want the visible. For a button, when you do the shorthand version, you want pressed, right? But you can check for button release. Yeah, for button, most time you want pressed. For draw text, for text, we'll just return visible. Excuse me. For checkbox, you want pressed for the shorthand version. Same for this one here. Is there a plain old... Is there a plain button? There's not a plain button because that would be dumb. We could have a plain button one, but... Pressed, pressed. Right, so all those ones that we put pressed on now, we should return that. It's not difficult, right? So basically, just go and get them in the right place. Pressed. No, not that one. This one wants pressed. Text. Oh, text. Checkbox. Checkbox. Checkbox text wants a pressed as well. Then we want to do the radio button radio button with some text on it. Right, so all of those ones that have the pressed, these need to simply return UI focus state. So if it's visible, then it's a no. So visible question mark focus state and UI focus state pressed. Else return. Now I'll put this in brackets because just in case, right? Never show all these stuff if not false, right? So that's what I need to put on. Well, not false. UI pressed. Not pressed. Boom. We'll take that. No, that's cheeky actually. UI pressed, not pressed. Sweet. It's a little bit weird. A little bit. We can cast that into Boolean, that might shorthand in it. Yep. Sweet, so just got to find all these ones with the pressed on it then and just do that. They're just ints in disguise. These things I hate about plain C enums. They're just ints in disguise polluting your namespace. Yes, apparently they're fixing it in C23, but... Well, no. They're, what are they doing? They're making it so you can make them type safe. So you don't have to do the silly unsafeness about it. They're not just ints anymore. You can make it a specific type, which is good. But yeah, they're not the best. They're really bad. So should we test it out and see if it works? So we want to know if a radio button's been pressed. So we'll just try it out on that one. So radio button if, and we'll just say like, we'll do this was released print again, right? We'll just do that. Because we don't really see it, but we see it changed the output, right? So it's these guys here. But press this, it doesn't do anything, right? But press this, it does. Cool. So that's working, that's good. So that's a nice addition, because then it means we could do easy, like how we're going to be using it most of the time is going to be very easy to do, right? So that's the benefit of that. Oh, poor baby. So, right, should we try speed running and text edit? Yeah, married, that's right. Been married for over a year now. Right, so we're adding text edit field. We do need an image, but we can do that later. But text edit's going to be a good one. So text edit, you want to know based on whether it changed. So if it's changed, right, has it been updated? So text edit, what do we want for text edit? So you give it a rectangle, nice. You then want to give it some form of buffer. So the thing is about this is the buffer you need, you're probably better off having, it's hard. So you want a buffer, you want a capacity, and then you also want to know like where is, like, well, you know where the cursor is. You'll store that locally. So you'll just need to know the maximum size of the buffer, and you'll probably keep track of it based on a null terminator. So it's the buffer we're modifying, and then the buff size. So the size of the buffer in bytes. So what we can do is we can fill the buffer with some text, and we'll just get it behaving like, looking like a text box, and we can evolve it from there. So basically we want to be doing probably like what the text one is like. So this thing is focusable, it's pressable, right? Well, not pressable, it's selectable. You can select it, means click it once, and then it becomes active, right? So then you also want to be able to pass in the active flag. So you know this thing is active only when you have, so you need the ID. So we'll have like some text box state. I called it text edit, didn't I? It should be called text box. Text edit. Text box. So this is the text box state. We retain it for like one text box at a time. So it's just whatever the selected one is. So you have your ID hash of the widget. Something like that. Here's for type safety. Yeah, definitely. That's definite. Yeah, I think they're so I think Clang does that already. But I don't. But I think C23 is making it so that will be a lot more easier to do. No, I don't have a string builder. Oh, I do. I just have a growable array. I could just use that. So if I did a growable array, so every time you want to use a text box, you can't just stick it in, because the beauty of having it in a buffer. Oh, poor boy. Yeah, the beauty of having a buffer, it just works with char buffers, right? If I do some other container type, it's got to work with that container type only. That's the problem with it. Right, so we know if it's focused by saying, hey, GUI.textBox_state. So we're not going to text edit. Go to that edit. Ugh. Yes, if the state.id hash, we don't have the ID hash yet. So we work out the ID hash here after we push it on and then calculate it by going over all the stack of hashes, which is a bugger. And why does it go over all of the stack of hashes when all you need to do is take the current one and add, just do one more fnv hash. I don't know what I should say to do. So really all you need to do is go over the one, take the current one, hash the new one on. Because that one would have been backed up and then restored anyway. So this should probably be equal to hash initial in frame start. UI focus state none. UI widget state none. UI widget state. Flags none. Pretty sweet. So when you do your widget start, you don't need to do a for loop, so this could be even less work. All you have to do is say, right, your ID hash is equal to whatever you push that one on. You take the ID hash from the widget info, that's your one there, and then you just pass in the address of ID, and kabam. Voila. So that saves doing the work. So really, it's really simple to compute the next hash. It's actually very simple. So you can say like pre-compute next hash. Just pass in the ID and you get back your... So that one could just be in here and just simply be, you know, I guess you can get a bit of code reuse, right? But it's just a one-liner, right? I don't usually like doing stuff like this, but there you go. We did it. Okay, so this can actually now be used in text box. So you can pre-compute the hash of your, so if this is equal to the one that's stored in text box, whatever, the control, the widget is active. So make sure you pass that flag in there as well. That'd be handy, right? So where do we do this? Cool, so the flags we're starting off with is, I've already done it. Yeah, it's these guys. We're gonna add another one to it. If it's active, so it will be themed as if it's active. And then if it's visible, we actually do some drawing. So we're going to draw it, and we draw the text, which would be a string, which should really be one of those core string underscore C buff mute. Right, that one's a const char star. Damn these consts. Wait a minute. What? Oh, string? String.h? Beautiful. Right, so this wants to know whether it has been changed. So for that, we'll probably say has the user changed, we'll store that state in this thing here. So we'll chuck that. Boolean has changed, and what we're going to do is when you start your frame, we'll set that to false. So GUI.textBoxState has changed equal false. And what we need to do is we need to actually start processing key presses and stuff like that, and then make edits to that. So we'll do that in a second. So this is the basics of this. Does it compile? Right, this is unused. So what we actually need to do is store the buffer, the mutable buffer, and the size that we can change. We need to store the size. We also need to store a sort of cursor location, right? So when you click it and it's new, you sort of need to make sure you put that in the right place. So there's that. So when you do your... So what you want to be able to do is say, if this thing is... if so if the focus state, if we have been pressed this time, then we want to set up a new version of this text box, right? So that you would say ID hash equal ID hash. You would then say has changed, probably being like false always. What else? So you give it the buffer information. So it's going to retain the information about this. Now the cursor is an interesting one. You got to try and like put that in the right place. But for now, I'll just put it at the start, or we could put it at the end. So you just do a string len buff mute. Right, to do place cursor at mouse location. So that right there should be drawing the box at least, but it won't be. What else? What would it be doing? But it won't have any interaction just yet. But the state is global, so we should be able to get at least the ability to insert some key presses and delete some things. So text box, you want the rectangle, you want the buff mute, you want the buff size. Yep. Obviously that is text box. Text box ID. It was right at the top on it, damn it. Cool. So let's take this for a spin. We're gonna do another. Just put it above the these guys. We'll do another cut top. This time we'll have another little buffer, 32 in size. Size of buff. Use of identifier. What's he talking about? What is that box doing? Oh, it's got the selected ID in there. Right. It's a problem with macros. Hard errors. Okay, so that should put us a box in there. It's not going to have any text in there yet. So what we'll do is we'll pre-initialize it to A, B, and C. The rest will be zeroed. Okay. That should be static as well. So it persists. So A, B, and C, here's our text box. So we've just clicked it and it doesn't unclick, which is what, or maybe we need to have a way to make it uncheck. But now we're inside there apparently. So we should be in there. We're not rendering a cursor yet. So effectively you should be able to say the cursor is at so the cursor's at stringlen, so that'll be at 3. So you can start really placing characters in at 3 until you get to the end, right? So let's just try that out. So at frame start, we're going to be like, we can do some little interesting things, right? We can say if GUI.textbox state ID hash, then we can start doing stuff. Then we can say if UI. So the thing is that I've got an OS system, but I forget. Do we have a way of getting? We have a way of getting the key presses and having it as UTF-8. But I wonder if we don't. That might just be as an event. Which means we'll have to feed it through if that's the case. os.h. So we have text input UTF-8 and we can get that out, but it's through an event. So you need to have, we might have text input being passed in something. So if you have text input being passed into the UI system, something like this, then if, so you say text input size stringlen this thing, text input, then if there is some form of text input, then what we can do is we can literally just like put it on the end of the array. So all you'd do is you just say while, is it a while? Because you could fill it up, right? You could also do a string copy, but yeah, while, or just string copy, right? String copy, string copy is really bad though. So we'll do a mem copy. But mem copy is probably a bit overkill for a lot of this stuff anyway. So mem copy into the buffer at buff mute at the cursor. We should really shorten this a bit. UI text state, so So TB, we'll just call it. Something like that. So we'll say text box, cursor, wherever the cursor is, right? And so that's where you're going to be placing it. Yeah, but that's going to insert it at the end, isn't it? It's not going to shift any. You need to do a mem move and then a mem copy. That it works fine for placing at the end, this code that we're writing here. So we'll be copying text input, and then you basically want to be copying the min of text input size and whatever TB buff size take TB buff cursor. So the min of those two, that's what you're copying in there. So that should work. We just have to wire in this thing from the OS is all. It shouldn't be too difficult. Or you could Hey Hostman, how you doing? Good, thank you. Good, thank you. How you doing? How you doing? So we could just append into some text input buffer, right? So we'll have like let's say it's give 128 for some reason, and let's 0 as well for some reason. To do make this better, right? And the idea is you want to have virtual text input, this one. So all we want to do is append to that. Yep. So all we want to do is append to that. It's pretty easy. So it's just snprintf, right? You're going to append to is plus equal that. You write at that location. Your size remaining is text input buff take the index, and what you put in there. See, I could have just done this with memcopy actually. Why am I doing it like that? Yeah. So something like that. Well, you want like a copy size. You only really want to copy it if this plus if that is less than, so it fits in the buffer, and then it's just a mem copy away. From bytes, and we're copying the size. Right, so we should be able to just throw that into the UI system, frame start, throw in text input buff. Jobs are good. Oh, did it happen? No way. It happens after, which means we could just make it a separate function, which means we don't need the separate buffer. Whoopsie. So you want to say like text input. You can provide some form of text input. Make it a core string. So this no longer needs this. We can bring this into the code and basically do all the text box stuff, which would be proper ideal. Proper ideal. And we'll say has changed equal true. So that would just be string.size, string.data, string.size. So now I just got to call that function every single time there is a some text input. So you should just be able to provide it like this. Core string bytes then size. And voila. Let's give that a go, shall we? Oh. Nearly there. Cool, so we click in here. I want to press buttons on my keyboard. We're getting some form of text input, but the cursor, you see, is not advancing. That's because we did a silly. And we didn't advance the cursor. Right, here we go. And we're going to start typing in some stuff. There you go, guys. Text input. We just overflowed a buffer, but well, hey. So yeah, we obviously still need to add some form of cursor into here. The text needs to be probably aligned better in the box. We need to be able to remove. We need to be able to use arrow keys. We need to be able to do, yeah, or skipping to starts of words and stuff like this, home and end keys. So there is some things to do, but it's it's come together. We should be able to do that in the next stream quite easily, I reckon. Plus some other things. So we're getting pretty close to having a fully working UI, basically. I reckon like 2 more streams, and then we could probably start working on making a little theme, and then decide on what to do next. Because after that, it's just list boxes and images, scroll views, right? Maybe 3 more streams max. 3 more streams max. We've got text edit, image, list, and scroll area. It's basically done. Radio. Okay, I got a jam somewhere. So next time I'll be on is Sunday at 6 PM GMT plus 1, and we're gonna obviously finish off this UI. See, I got sent these, and maybe we could do something fun with text afterwards, but I don't know. Should start reading. What about text area? We will not be needing multi-line text. Multi-line text is quite advanced. I've done it in the past, hence why I don't want to do it again. But yeah, we obviously should support like yeah, UTF-8 at some point. Why can't I just find the one place that I go on all of the time? Software. My days. Yeah, multi-line and text alignment, yeah. Do you have elements that can be at an angle? Yeah, we have rotation. We have matrices, 2x3 matrices on every drawing item. So we can rotate anything we want. I've not got the ability to do it in the UI, but the drawing is capable. Yeah, sorry Nico, I got a jam. It's bedtime. Where's this dude? Yeah, get to bed, Nico. Step away from that FreeBSD machine. Right, so I'll see you on the next stream. Sunday we're doing a stream. Tuesday we're doing a stream. You know, there is links in the about section on the Twitch if you want to follow me elsewhere. There's a Discord. There's Twitter. But right, have a good weekend, everyone. I'll see you at the end of it. Right, catch you later. Thank you for coming. Right. How do you know on a FreeBSD machine? Right, catch you later, guys. Bye bye.